Today has been a full day of just honestly being sad and processing grief. I woke up feeling really sad about the breakup again, and honestly, I know it's gonna keep feeling this way for a while. Today marks 1 month since the last time that I saw her, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if, knowing myself, that I was still feeling sad like this even like a year from now. But surprisingly, I'm actually okay with it. I think in the past I would have been like, oh my god, when am I gonna move on? And actually at some points during this breakup I did feel that way, but I think I am kind of at a resting place with the sadness now, where it's at a level that feels manageable and it feels like able to be turned into art. It doesn't feel overwhelming, and so I think a little bit of sadness living with me indefinitely is okay in my books. But I'm coming to realize that writing in general is just literally about being present with what currently exists for you. And I think that I have this weird relationship with writing where I would sit down and then I would expect that, like, because I didn't have my own personal experience with it, I just felt like, oh, the things will come to you and then you'll experience this like huge catharsis. But it's me realizing that it actually doesn't come to you like that. It's more like an uncovering of sorts, and I feel an extremely strong pull to romanticize my life more right now and create more. Everything can be a spiritual practice and everything can be a creative practice. Nothing is consistent except for the fact that I am going to keep changing. So the question now is, how can I continually show up for myself and embrace the present moment? I think that what's coming up strongly for me today is feeling really tired of the patterns of avoidance that I have existed in and really wanting something to change. I finally feel ready. I feel like there's a fire within me and I feel capable of letting that fire out now. And that's not to say that I don't feel scared and uncertain of the future, but I'm so ready to become something new. I'm so ready to shatter basically everything that I know to be real. I crave the feeling of discovering something new that alters the way that you experience reality. I just think that there is so much life to live and I feel pretty excited to live it. I think that also what this feeling is telling me is that I really, really feel good when I am learning and when I am trying to grow. And I hope to endlessly learn and endlessly stumble upon breakthroughs and endlessly keep uncovering my inner truth and my inner experience. And I want to be so deeply connected to my inner truth and inner experience that I don't feel the need to defend myself to anyone or explain myself to anyone anymore. And so just another thought that I've been having is, this morning I was thinking a lot about what it really means to connect to others, and I think that there are so many ways to connect, and it's actually crazy how unique it is to all of us. And I think in the past I sort of saw the way that other people would connect in ways that I don't feel connected to other people through as like lacking something. Like I just felt like surely there can't be like a level of connection that exists in that, but I do think that there is, and it's just not my way of relating. And so with that in mind, then the question is, well, what is my preferred way of relating? What really makes me feel connected to another human being? And I think that the qualities that I'm distilling this down to are like a deep awareness of one's inner experience and the way that they relate to their inner world, mixed with some playfulness and curiosity, an imaginative way of thinking, and all of that coupled with being able to show up with that consistently. Perhaps some vulnerability in there too. I think that sharing of inner emotional worlds is like the best form of connection that exists. It feels like literal drugs to me. Like when someone is willing to share their inner world and be curious about mine, it feels like I can genuinely go on and do that for hours and hours and hours. The few friends that I had when I was a kid, the few close friends that I had, that is what we would do. I was basically, the only way that I would hang out with those friends is meeting up sometime in the afternoon and then not separating again until like 5 a.m. the next morning, and literally all that we did the whole time was just talk. And so I don't know how it, I honestly don't know how I didn't realize sooner that that's like the type of connection that I love. And it feels really nice to be able to realize that about myself and fully own it and know that that is what I'm looking for in connection, and that that's what I love about connecting. It's just so cool. And I think sharing moments like that with other people are what make me fall in love with people and with life in general, and I really want to be conscious of inviting more of that experience into my life. I have had a free day to myself, and I was feeling a little guilty that I didn't do more with my day like an hour ago, but I think that with all that I have connected to within myself today, it feels pretty worth it. And now I'm gonna go get dinner with my friend Janae, and I am feeling in the mood to dress up a little bit, so we'll see. Okay, so this is what we're working with. I'm probably gonna wear red platform burgundy docs with this. And yeah, ignore that orange curtain on the floor. I switched the curtains the other day, and turns out the cats really enjoy playing in it, so it will be there until further notice. I added a belt because I felt like it needed something, and now it's complete. Here is my update with the wall. I actually think this section is complete enough for me now, and I might start building on that side or that side. These are the new additions. It is currently May 24th. I did wash my hair last night, and so I styled it this morning, and it's feeling really nice and fresh. But I was just reflecting on my recent therapy sessions, and there was something I wanted to share, and it's that I have a pattern, a very, very long-standing pattern of hyperfixation on thoughts and like intense rumination. And so I sometimes will bring these ruminations into therapy, and I will be like leading my therapist down this long winding thought process, and then kind of looking towards her for an answer. And something I really love about my current therapist is that she will never give me the answer to what it is that I'm thinking about. Instead, she'll ask me why it is that I'm even wanting the answer for that at all. And I think it's like, it's so cool because it's a corrective process of my thinking that I haven't experienced in therapy with any other therapist thus far. I mean, I've only had one other therapist, but it's new to me, but it's actually really helping me catch my own thoughts, and it's so nice because it literally breaks my brain. And I think there's something that happens in the moment too, as she's like, well, what is it that you actually are wanting, what is the emotional need of this question that you're asking me. And then in that moment, it's like I have to unmask and like unclothe. And my friend Destiny often uses this this metaphor of like when you're being vulnerable with someone and sharing about all the things that have happened to you, that you're like undressing in front of them. And that feels like a willing, conscious undressing that you're choosing to do. But then every time this moment happens in therapy, it's like all of a sudden my clothes have been ripped away from me, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm naked. And I'm like looking at her, looking at me, and I'm looking at myself and like noticing all these imperfections and insecurities about my naked body while being witnessed by her. And I think that is such a vulnerable experience, and I've noticed that like when I resist it, the feeling, whatever I'm feeling, will automatically disappear. But if I choose to be flexible and like go with the flow and let myself be exposed, I guess, and lean into it, there's so much healing and transformation that happens in therapy. I think it's those moments when I can feel myself wanting to clam up and I stay open. I think those are the moments that I'm really healing in therapy, because I feel like I'm being seen at the deepest level that I possibly can, because it's like the dissolving of who I am. It's like, it feels like if I am a Lego set that is being built, and usually I'm able to break apart all my Legos and put them back together in a different way before I present in front of someone else. With her, it feels like every time she catches me in something like that, it's like my Legos have all broken apart, and suddenly I'm just this brokenness looking at her and hoping that she won't judge me, which she never does. So shout out to my therapist, Lily. I am really thankful for you, and this might be weird to say, but there is a part of me that loves you, even though it is a one-sided relationship. But yeah, I'm just really thankful for my therapist and therapy in general, and I'm thankful for life, and I'm thankful for friendship and the unknown. I've been making new friendships, and I've just been letting them progress without trying to define them, and without trying to define them or really give any attention as to like what they are at all, and just let them be dictated by energy and how I feel. And that's been so freeing, because I think the neuroticism of trying to always know exactly what something is, like, oh, what kind of friendship is this, how close are we gonna be, like all of those things, just letting them naturally flow is so nice, and something that I also didn't used to do. And I think it's also cool because it leaves a sort of mystery and a sort of like tethering to many people at one time. And I used to feel like I really only let my partner in, and everybody else was like not even an arm's length, but like honestly very far length away from me. And like it's weird letting people in to a closer circle and letting kind of a lot of people in, because it's like it feels like I have them all there with me, and I care about them more than I ever have with my friends, in the sense that like I care about them, like I have more emotional investment in them in terms of consistency and like keeping them in my mind and like thinking about them day to day. Because I used to just have a bunch of individual close friends that I honestly would like never think of, but then when I would hang out with them, it would be like really fiery chemistry in terms of like how much I felt like we got along. But then because we were all traumatized, avoidant little gremlins, we would hang out, be super happy, and then not see each other again for like 6 months. to a year and be really content with that, and I would just see these people periodically, but it's like we wouldn't text in between seeing each other. We wouldn't even really, I don't think we were even really thinking of each other. And so it's nice having people at a more consistent level, because it actually feels very supportive and like I'm not alone anymore, despite there being this like existential aloneness that I have embraced now, where it's like day to day I wake up and it's just me that I have, you know. But I'm willing to ask people to be there for me. I'm willing to ask them to make time for me, and that's been like new and different, and I really like it. Yeah. And now it's time for me to go to work, unfortunately. So it's time to get into my silly mode, get some coffee. Do I have time to read before work? No. So I will just be going to work now.
My stomach's been a garden. Someone burned the nest. Uproot all this wasted fruit that's growing in my chest again. Soulmates are for choosing, and I made up my mind.
It is Thursday today, and I have not been doing so great today. Yesterday and today have been quite tumultuous for me. I feel a lot of different things, but mainly I just feel really sad and a bit angry for sure. And so yeah, I'm gonna go get dinner with Brian right now.
From the first moment I saw you.
I just finished getting coffee with Grace. It was pretty good. I got a matcha. I've been thinking a lot about how one of the parts that I really miss about being in a relationship is being able to express love in like a very unfiltered way. And I've been noticing where the areas of my life where I do still feel love, and one of the things that I have really enjoyed is being able to love one of my friends, Destiny, with kind of a similar, I wouldn't say intensity, but like similar level of openness that I had felt in my previous relationship. And I, like, when I'm crying to her and when we're crying together, we'll like hold each other for a really long time, and like she'll like even like pet my hair and like bring me into her lap, and it's just really sweet and loving. And I had no idea how much I honestly like needed that out of friendship. But I think it's so beautiful, and honestly, like if I have that in my friendships, I don't really know that I need it romantically, at least not in this area of my life. But with that being said, I've always loved writing love notes, just admiring my friends, just like admiring people feels so good, and really noticing the things that I love about people and expressing that to them. But in the past I felt like that was only reserved for romantic partners, but I'm realizing that's not, because of how I've been experiencing my platonic friendships recently. And so I went into a little stationery store. I actually got these little hand lotions, and they smell so good. I think I've actually seen these before, but it's a Korean brand called Tony Moly. I'm pretty sure it's Korean. Yeah. And it just smells so good. It's like unreal to me. It smells so good. I always really loved the way that Korean products are like so lightly scented, and it's always so fresh. I enjoy that a lot. I want to get back into scrapbooking, but I got this little tiny baby notebook to put onto my bag because I want to be able to write love notes to people just throughout my day when I come across like people that I really like, interactions that I'm having with like people who work in stores or my coworkers, or honestly really just anything that calls to me. So I'm gonna put that on here. And then I also got a card, and I thought this was cute. It says, it's a Google search, and the whys are: why are you so cute? Why are you the most beautiful person to exist? Why are you sexy and intelligent at the same time? Why did God make you perfect? And future lover. If you ever watch this, this card is for you. And yeah, it was honestly just really nice. One of the owners of this store was working, and she was so sweet. But I feel so bad because I had started out my conversation with her telling her that I wanted to give myself permission to buy more like whimsical things, but instead of whimsical, I said useless because that sounds so bad. But in my brain, like, this is the type of thing where my mom would always say like, oh, you don't need to buy useless things. And so like in my head, I'm associating it to it being a useless thing that is how it would be described in my childhood, but I personally don't see it as useless. But anyway, it just came out so quickly, and then I had later realized after I followed her on Instagram that she's one of the owners. And so, Sandy, if you ever see this video, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to call your products useless. That was not what I meant, and I'm sorry. Yeah, I am going to write a little note now for my friend and drop it off at his house with one of these little cards that I got.
Sam, don't break me, don't break me, don't break me, don't break me, please.
She's got a problem. If she thinks I stay with her, she never will.
I am sort of having a strange experience over the past couple days because my understanding of like what really happened in my last relationship is still sort of solidifying, and it's interesting how all of these parts make the whole, but like it feels sometimes very contradictory, but I feel so strong in my conviction and how I feel with certain things in the relationship. But honestly, it's all true and it's all part of it. And something I was thinking about yesterday is how I know now that the next lesson that I really need to go after is to really figure out who I am currently and develop a regular practice of checking in with myself and maintaining a sense of self. And I think I sort of did already know that, but that truth is coming to me in a different way now because I was thinking about how I think that because I wasn't really living from a conscious place prior to dating her, I think that oftentimes she would ask of me to reflect on my own behaviors and thoughts and kind of a lot though, to the point where it did sometimes feel like I just couldn't exist, and everything that I did was under some sort of scrutiny, which is funny because she would probably say the same thing about me in a different way, but I didn't realize that I was also being subjected to that for most of the relationship, but because it was masked as something that was like good for me, I felt like it was okay. My responsibility in this was also kind of looking for someone to be my savior and tell me what to do, because I was looking to avoid my shame. For so long I had been looking, I wanted to be a good person, and that if I could date someone who I felt like was a good person and they would tell me how to live basically, then I could follow someone else's instructions, and if I did that, I would be a good person. And so I kind of just took everything she said as like, oh yeah, if I do that, then I'll be good because someone else told me it was okay, instead of figuring out what it is I actually wanted to do and how I wanted to live, and knowing that no matter how I choose to live, it is actually okay and I am good, and I don't need to adhere to someone else's values to feel okay. And so with that, I think there is a lot of myself that I need to recover. And I think something that I lost in the relationship was my sense of play and spontaneity. I feel like something I actually have identified with internally is being very random and kind of chaotic, and maybe even a little bit childish. And I think I had lost a lot of that because I was so frequently worried about what she would think, because, or what kind of judgment would be coming later about like, well, what does this mean about who you are? And so I think it created a lot of tension in me. Part of it is also just me having grown up, and yeah, I think I miss the sense of wonder that I used to bring into every situation, and like making something fun, because like even just going to like, let's say, get coffee, where I feel like I used to be able to have fun in every moment and make something like silly, but I think like I became worried about the way I tried to align with the way that she liked to show up to relieve any anxiety for her, which she was very like the second we'd go into an establishment, she's like, what's next, like basically looking to get in and out of things as quickly as possible, because that's sort of her patterning. And I was happy to align with that, but I think it's something I'm noticing that I am kind of sad is gone. I shouldn't say gone. Something that I haven't felt connected to in a long time. The ability to like take my time and be random and not have everything make sense and not be efficient. And then I realized in therapy this week that when I have a feeling that I don't really like, because I feel like to have this feeling in this context doesn't make sense, and so therefore if I feel this thing, then I am irrational and bad, and I'm not making sense, and it's not fair for me to feel this way. There is a piece of relating to myself that I've been missing, and it's not just examining my thoughts, but examining the relationship that I have with them, in terms of like, I often feel like I can't think anything bad about my ex, because the second I start to think something bad about her, I second guess myself and I question whether or not I'm wrong, and that it's not fair of me to think this unless I know for certain that it is true. And I start to feel really bad to have those thoughts, and it came to a point where I realized that I am scared of having those thoughts because of what they might mean about me if I have them. Like if I think this of her and it turns out to not be true or not be fair, then what does that mean about me? Am I just a bad person? And so instead I resist those thoughts, and I don't let myself feel the emotions that are tied to them. But I think something that I'm also uncovering is this idea that my sense of reality will never be the full picture, and it will actually never make sense in any way that no matter how much information that I gather, it will truly, there's no making sense of it. And so I think the only thing you can really trust is your own feelings, and not necessarily that your feelings are true, but that your feelings are the compass that guide you into what feels good and what's right for you, and that all of our understanding of things just are going to be different, and therefore there is no sense of truth. It's just trusting your own feelings and not necessarily adhering to the truth as something that even really exists. It's just that my experience of the relationship at this point in time is starting to feel kind of bad and kind of like it wasn't a very good relationship, which contradicts everything that I previously thought. It's really hard for me to say that, but I am realizing that is just the truth of my experience, and that's okay.